it's interesting. I mean, I had a taste of it. I've done some events even before Tech Connect, but having a taste of the behind the scenes of a large event like DynamicsCon, and I've been heavily involved pretty quickly in the marketing side, which includes marketing the event, which is emails and everything we do on that piece, but also the marketing collateral. So all the signs, every sign, every placement, making sure it's not just at an event this size, even the small size, you want everything to be perfect, and so it can get
Yes.
intense.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I think I've got, I don't know, if I looked right now in Asana is the project management software we use to keep this all organized. I think we've got probably just 100+ tasks just around signage, of
Yeah.
various kinds.
Oh yeah, I believe it, especially at an event like your scale, where there's thousands of people showing up and you have so much floor space to cover, so much venue space to cover, and obviously you want it to be branded beautifully and all of that good stuff. So, how do you feel everything's coming along though so far for
Good. I mean, I've been
DynamicsCon?
to two site visits. I need to find out if we're going to do another one, but we've done two site visits. So, and the team's been out there more than me. I just happened to have hit on two, to make sure, we're in that stage of now, like I said, we've seen it, we've placed all the things, and now we're, but executing it. But like you said, it's like, I want to make sure when you walk in the door, when we're there, when we're on site, it was like, well, should we brand this? Should we brand that? It's like, we should brand everything we can afford, because when people get
Right.
there, they want to feel like they're at an event. Like, you want to walk in and go think about the library when we did those Ellipse events there. You walk in, it's the library, and you're not feeling it yet, and you see a little sign over there. It's not until you're in the room that
Yeah.
you feel the event. And so, an event the scale of like DynamicsCon or a summit or any giant conference, you want to like feel like it's Disney World. Like, you walk in
Yeah.
like, holy crap, I just arrived at this big
We're
cool event.
here.
Yeah, and we're
Yeah.
here, and it just looks cool, and every time you turn around, it's like, wow, another cool thing. So that
Yes.
I said, as much as we can brand, people kept asking, it's like, well, should we brand this? It's like, if we can afford it, yes, brand it.
Yeah.
Brand everything you can. Find
Yes.
cheap ways to brand wherever, anywhere you can get branding, cool branding at a big event. So yeah, so we've got so to me, it's like the little things of now of like you mentioned this, how do I get from this room to this room? It's at a hotel this year, DynamicsCon is, with two large towers where the rooms are, like the hotel rooms are, and then there are conference spaces below. Like, you go down, and so it's the directionals that's where I start getting scared. Like, how do people find where they need to be and not get lost? We were talking about this the first year you went to Summit. I can't remember where we were talking about it, but almost abandoning our own session because you're just like, I've spent 20 minutes trying to find this thing. It's like, it's just,
Yes.
if you and if you got these weird rooms, how do you account for all this? So that's kind of the hard nitty gritty side, for me, is like, just fine tuning all the signage and trying to, the other big thing we're trying to do, and we'll get better and better, is just being more accessible. So as we step into a world of more attention to accessibility, like a sign that I can see perfectly, I need to start thinking beyond that. It's like, oh, it looks great to me, but how does it look to this person who's colorblind, or this person who has dyslexia? So when they see too many things together, it gets jumbled. Or if we put out acronyms, does everybody know what the acronyms are? Or a symbol, symbol this way is like, well, if somebody, a global person might not know this symbol means this, so therefore they're not included. And so they're adding that level in is just another thing. So
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, all of the details matter, that's for sure. And it's things that you don't even think about until you're in that position of planning it and everything. Like, I know for me, when I go to an event now, whether that's in the Dynamics community or just like in my personal life or whatever, I feel like I have so much greater appreciation for the details that all go into it that most people probably overlook. It's almost like planning a wedding, right? It's like when you
right.
go to a wedding, you're like, nobody cares what color the napkins are, nobody cares about this. But when you're planning it, you're like, I care about that. And then when you go to
Yeah.
other weddings, you're like, oh, yeah. So
And you can
it
see that.
is a
You
lot.
appreciate. You almost want to find that person and say, "I noticed you had the napkins
Yes.
matching the things," and because not everybody's going to pick up on that, but that person knows that enough people will. Yeah,
Exactly.
I love it.
Yeah. And you were talking about even having issues finding classes or rooms and stuff within the venue. And I'm sure that also plays a big factor in even before you do venue selection and things like that of of what would be an easily accessible place and what's easy to find and things
Yeah.
like that. So a lot of that has to go into even before you choose the venue and scoping out things like that. So I'm sure it'll
So
be great though. I'm excited. Yeah, what are some things for DynamicsCon this year that you're looking most forward to, or do you have any behind the scenes insight? I mean, you've always been on the planning committee, but like actually working for Doug and everything now, is there anything there?
I think it's fun. Actually, not being on the planning committee was kind of weird this year. Seeing it happen in
Yeah.
front of me and not being on it. Although
Hmm.
next year, I think I'll just join all the planning committees. So hello, everybody.
Do
You'll
you
see
have
a lot more of
FOMO
me, BC and
of
Power
not being on it this
Platform and
year?
CE, all the folks. Just
Yeah.
because I want to help I want to keep crafting a stronger like continuity between the sessions. One thing we did well in F&O, in any committee I've been on, is to really drive home a really continuous feel to the education. And so I want to continue to help folks out in the other programming committees. I was talking to somebody and they were like, "What? I didn't realize we were doing that. I'd love to do that." And so, can we do it now? It's like, a little too late this year, but
Yeah.
happy to coordinate that next year and get that as a tone set so that we kind of get that. So if you step into any of these tracks, you can kind of find a quick lane and feel comfortable with that education. So you don't feel like you're missing anything. So it just helps to take some of the overwhelming nature out of these larger events. So you're not like just sitting there looking at it, a session list going, I don't know what to do. It's like, oh, I can kind of see what they're doing here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, being behind the scenes is just interesting. Just again, so many things that go into the planning of these events because the ultimate goal is to make this impactful for the attendees, whether they're, and this again, the cool side about being in the community piece is that I'm doing this for everybody, for partners and ISVs and Microsoft and end users. So it's the full breadth of attendee. It's not just focused on one particular attendee in their experience. It's really everybody's. And you do, I mean, you do too. Obviously, you've got different buckets for all the things you're doing for Tech Connect with sponsors and end users and Microsoft folk that are joining you.
Yeah. Yeah, just not in the same vein, obviously, but still a little bit. Um, yeah.
So yeah, so this year, just as a point that you mentioned, what's new? This will be the first year. As DynamicsCon has grown from its first iteration in Anaheim. 5 years ago. This would be the fifth one. 5 years ago it was like 100 and some people. Just 100. A lot of partners, not a lot of end users. Our goal this year is 3,000, and we're cranking right towards it. It's looking good, and we have our first expo hall, which is so the normal expo hall last year. It was an expo wings, it's expo areas because it was
Yeah,
kind of
not quite there.
not a room, and the same the year before that. I'm trying to remember in San Antonio when the first one that I went with Gregor, and it was just a small hallway with like 3 or 4 exhibitors. Just outside of like one of the main rooms, so grown a lot. So it's really true like traditional exhibit hall, which is cool to start to
Yeah.
plan out and think around. We've got some, excuse me, a cool, you typically have a photo op when you go to these things, whether it's the name of the convention or something memorable. We've got a pretty cool superhero themed photo op. So that's more on the kind of the kitschy fun side.
Yeah.
But just tons of
Um,
education, and I think a really good space. It shouldn't, there's definitely some weird, it's hard not to have some weird things going on, but the space is really traversable and walkable, and it's right downtown in Chicago, so we're pretty excited.
Yeah, that's exciting that it's right downtown too, just to be able to go do some exploring and stuff too.
Yeah,
Whenever I go to a conference, I think it's so fun to be able to catch a breath of fresh air outside and just
yeah,
do like a lap around the block or something like that. I know, like when we were in Charlotte for Summit, that was like
it was
the
really
perfect
fun.
place.
Yeah, really fun. San
Yeah.
Antonio was good too. San Antonio, you could get out a little bit, but Charlotte was just right there. This is right there, so you could walk out. You're across the street from the river, which was just
Mhm.
turned green. So you might still have a little green. Yeah, I don't know how fast they get that pumped out, but yeah,
Yeah.
so you're right across the street from the river. Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited. Yeah, you were talking about like the growth and everything that's happened within the past 5 years. Do you think there's something specific that's like attributed to that Doug's done, or do you think it's just kind of caught fire naturally a little bit? I'm sure there's things that they've done to
Yeah.
really amp it up a little bit.
I mean, I think, one of the things that I know, when I joined Doug last year was that the community is huge. Like the number of users, whether
Mm-hmm.
they're, ISVs, whatever, it's just a huge community. But, it's just a small percentage are going to these events. There's just a lot of space for these things to grow and for people and so I think, one of my jobs, was to, keep my face out there and to keep content out there. So I think that certainly helps. The
Mm-hmm.
more we're, out in the community providing, good education and good opportunities, that brings that back. And I think the work that we're doing locally is probably pretty strong too. So just people getting to know us locally. We're just, we're opening up or starting meetups almost every week now,
Yeah.
not just here, but some cool places. Like I think we're just starting some up in Africa and Singapore and
Really
Copenhagen
good.
and
Yeah.
just all over the place. So that also I think is definitely contributes to the growth and success of this. But again, I just think there's so much space. I mean, you could start another one and it would grow too. I think there's just so much space.
Yeah.
But I know that back to your point before, like folks like Molly, who's my boss and who's been doing this since it began, that's her favorite thing, like is that attention to detail, like the little things that you might overlook. Like, yeah, but this sign is fine, but what if it just one little, it's like, yes, some percentage of people, and it's going to just somehow it's going to overall enhance the experience.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know that Ellipse is excited to sponsor once again. Yeah, we have a few sessions and things like that. So we're so excited to participate and attend and everything. And
And you get to go,
um,
which is awesome. You'll be at the partner marketing event, and hopefully you can pop
yes,
into the expo hall too as well. You'll be there for that. So yeah,
yeah, I'll definitely have to pop in. I think I'll try to schedule like a later flight on Wednesday or something so I can hang out for Wednesday a little bit for
yeah.
sure. We're planning on hosting like a happy hour on Wednesday night,
Oh,
so there's
cool.
more information to come there. Yeah, you should stop by and say hi to the Ellipse gang and everything like
I'm
that.
sure I'll be pop. That's the other thing. I don't even know what it's going to be like being at an event with the onus of having to help with the event of this size.
Mhm.
Unlikely be just I can't wait to see my step count. We actually have a
Yeah,
step.
you're gonna be running around with your head cut off.
Yeah, we're having a step competition internal leading up to see just to get everybody prepared. For the
Yeah.
walk-in that you're going to be doing, and so for the folks that haven't been to big conferences before. So
Hmm.
yeah, I'm sure we'll be putting on miles and miles.
Yes. What shoes are you gonna wear? Hopefully comfy ones.
That's the. I mean, at regular conference, I'm apt to wear the most, Doc Martens is a thing. I might be wearing my Docs. Who knows?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll have a. I just bought a. Hey Jesse, I just bought. We were just talking
Hey,
about.
Savannah. Hey,
Yeah.
Bobby.
I just bought a new travel suitcase, like a check bag because I didn't have a good check. Usually I'm traveling. Like Molly was shocked at how much I get it like into my small like carry on.
Okay.
It's like I'll have a week's worth of like 10 outfits. She's like, "How are you doing this?" It's like I don't know. I literally like vacuum packed and twisted and turned. And
You
Right.
need to have like a
4 day
little
packing
how-to
experience.
video on how to
Mm-hmm.
fit all these clothes into carry-on.
Yeah, yeah. So I
There's your
bought
next
a big.
episode right there.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep, a full on episode on just watching Bobby pack. Yeah, it's like ASMR. Just
I would
no
watch it.
sound, just me packing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Um, So I do have the big bag, so I will be bringing a lot of stuff, I'm sure.
Great. So you hardly ever check a bag? Is that what you're saying?
I may have checked it, but I was always traveling in like a 24-inch, carry-on style,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
as opposed to the big dog. Yeah, so I got
Yeah.
Yeah.
the I got the 30-inch. It's big enough that my wife, when I got it open, I was like, man, I think I can almost fit in there. I couldn't quite, like, I couldn't quite fit. I couldn't get, but she's my height, but a little bit smaller. So she
Uh,
she got in a second. So I got a
oh
funny
wow.
video of her like popping out. I sent it to my daughter. I was like, look, I got a new suitcase to travel with, and then she popped out. So yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
That is funny.
Excellent. How you guys doing?
Good, man. How about you?
Yeah, hanging in there, working.
Yeah. When is Dynaway again? Can you remind me?
The 29th, 30th, the Connect conference, yeah. So the last couple of days of April.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So just a
We were
couple of
just
weeks before
talking.
DynamicsCon, yeah.
Yep. We were
Yeah.
just talking about, that's when you stepped in. We were just talking about conferences and running around conferences and how many steps you put on. We are having
Yeah.
an internal step competition now at getting ready, getting our legs ready and our minds around walking all day. So,
Okay, yeah.
um,
It is big. It's a lot of walking, you're right.
yeah.
But the counter to that is like I eat terrible at these things. So, it's
Yeah.
like I'm
You need
taking
it.
people out to steakhouses and lots of beer and you're like, ah. But
Yeah.
maybe
And
it's all even because you do exercise so much. I don't know.
And the steak dinners are normally like at 9 o'clock at night. Like I remember one of the first conferences I went to, it was like, yeah, I got invited to this dinner and it was like 9 and we didn't eat till 10. And it
Yeah.
was a steakhouse and you're like, okay, I'm ordering a steak. And it's like, I'm eating at midnight. I'm finishing up this
That's right.
T-bone. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, my stomach is just killing me. And, luckily I
Yep.
think you're right. It's like the balance in the world says, okay, but I'm going to make you walk 100 miles tomorrow around this conference.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
feel like I need like a whole cleanse after a week at being at a conference. It's like I need to just drink like green juices, work
Yep.
out every day so I can
Yep.
like go back to feeling like myself a little
Yeah.
You bet.
bit.
Yeah,
Little post-conference routine.
I end up not having a beer for 2 weeks after a conference for sure. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
kind
I'm
of like
always
the
shocked when I
holiday.
come back from a conference and I haven't like no like I'm like wow, I feel like I'm about the same. Like somehow I did it right that conference. It's
Yeah.
rare. It's rare.
Well, I gotcha. So how's DynamicsCon going? You guys ready?
Man, we're chugging along. We're chugging
Okay.
along, but it's a lot of work. I was just
Oh
telling
yeah.
Savannah, my list of like just marketing tasks. Like I'm not, we've got a project manager who's, part of the company that coordinates this event. She's an event coordinator by, trade.
Mm-hmm.
She's got all everything else buttoned up, the facilities
Mm-hmm.
and just the marketing tasks alone were in the hundreds of like, we need a little button sign for this and we need a thing for that
Yeah. Yeah.
and make sure it's on brand and there's no
Yeah.
mistakes and
Yeah.
it's a lot. Like,
Yeah.
it's fun to see it kind of come all together. As
Sure.
we've been a few months into it now
Yeah.
to see it slowly pulling together and getting to that end point, and a lot of cool stuff. There's a lot of cool sponsor stuff. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
cool opportunities. I was telling Savannah our first expo hall, so this is the first
Okay.
year DynamicsCon has had a true proper exhibit hall. So
Okay. That's fascinating. That's
yeah,
going to be cool. Yeah.
yeah,
It's going to be real cool. Yeah,
yep.
we're doing that, on a much smaller scale than you guys are doing that. So we dip our toes into it, and yeah, you can always think of something else to do, something new. Oh, we should do that, but then you only have so much bandwidth. So
Yep.
yeah.
Well, Savannah's
Yeah.
got she and Ellipse, they do their event, which is similar to the
Okay.
Dynaway Connect. It's a smaller, 100
Yeah.
to 150 person
Yep.
event that they've done every year for probably 5 or 6 years now.
Okay.
But I think
I
Savannah,
think
you
so,
probably
yeah.
could commiserate with that idea of like, hey, last year we did this. How are we
Yeah.
going to change it for this year so that people
Yeah.
aren't bored or
Yeah.
Yeah, spice it up a
Yeah.
bit.
spice it up a
Yeah.
bit?
Yeah. We should
Yeah.
definitely pick your brain, Savannah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'll have to pick yours too. Maybe we could bounce
A
off
lot
each
of
other a
brain
little
picking,
bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like plucking fleas off each other or whatever.
Yeah. Good one. Yeah. So I would keep that one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll take that one. You can have this one.
Do
Yeah,
y'all
that'd
move
be
that
great.
around, or is that in one place?
It's been in Dayton. It's always been in Dayton,
Okay.
Ohio. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where our home office is and everything. So we kind of like to keep it local in that sense and back to our roots and everything. So yeah. What about you guys? Is
Different
it always
venues
in
though, just different venues, depending from where we
Mm-hmm.
first started.
Yeah.
as we've grown? Yeah. We've
Sure.
had changes.
Well, this is only our second annual, so the 2 years have been in Greenville, South Carolina, where I live.
Okay.
But this year we did open a Tampa office. I think there's a good chance it could move to Tampa next year.
Hmm.
Nice. I mean, South Carolina, Florida, they all sound like good locations.
Yeah, Greenville is
So,
beautiful, but probably, ease of travel, Tampa's a little easier,
Yeah,
so it
for
probably makes
sure.
it easier to get people in and out. And cost
Mm-hmm.
wise, for people that are traveling, I could see that
Yep.
being a consideration. Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So,
Jesse,
uh,
do you want to give like a brief rundown of what Dynaway Connect is? I've briefly looked into it for Ellipse to attend in the past,
mhm.
but yeah, if you just want to give like a few bullet points of what it is overall.
Yeah, it's just it's a conference that has a micro focus on asset management. So, we looked out there in the community, and uh, there's events like DynamicsCon, Summit in the fall, where there's big conferences. They cover all the modules in the Dynamics realm, and we just thought, we originally coded and developed the EAM system that became asset management when Microsoft purchased it from us in 18. And we just always thought that there needed to be sort of a deeper dive into that particular module, because uh, it's actually a pretty big area of focus for a lot of companies. If they're in specific asset intensive industries, there's probably not a big focus for a retail chain, but for a mining company, for instance, it's a very big deal. And so there's lots of like third party independent solution providers, but there's nothing that's been really focused on asset management or EAM for Dynamics. And we just thought it would be kind of neat to create a conference that was had a specific focus. And we knew it was going to be smaller than DynamicsCon, because you guys are covering multiple platforms, multiple um, industries, all kinds of functionality. But we wanted it to be focused on specifically asset management, and so we created the conference to do that. We wanted it to be not a Dynaway conference, to be an asset management conference, because that's a Microsoft module. And of course, we talk a little bit in some of the sessions about Dynaway products, because we're a big part of that ecosystem. But we have tracks on general maintenance and reliability that have nothing to do with platform or software. We have Microsoft speaking about their vision. Um, we have partners who are talking about what they bring to that, the consulting side of asset management specifically, and and then just a lot of sessions on the base product that's comes out of the box from Microsoft with supply chain management. So our idea was not to make it a Dynaway user conference, was to make it a conference specifically focused on asset management. And we knew that, at least early on, that would mostly be Dynaway users, but we didn't want it to be exclusively that. That wasn't our tact, and we still believe in that. So there's a lot of Dynaway customers there, because that's who we can reach out to and promote to. And but we are trying to make it kind of generic, and I think we have, to make it just a conference is focused on one module within the Microsoft Dynamics F&O suite, and we have a BC product too. So, but that's not very big at this conference yet, but it will be in the future.
Yeah.
Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, definitely. That's
So,
very cool.
so if I was to be analogous, I would say if some company out there, Ellipse or whatever, if you did a conference on um, you know general ledger and dynamics, that's kind of what we're doing.
Yeah.
And you would get a lot of accountants, you would get a lot of finance people, we're getting a lot of maintenance people, business analysts too. There are a lot of IT people there, but those that are specifically kind of coming to learn about asset management, because that's what we do.
Yes.
Right.
How was the conference last year? So you said it's the second year. What was the first year like?
First year was fantastic. We knew it was going to be small. We had about I think 85 or 90 people there. Um, and we didn't even have our idea for year one was not really to have any sponsors, that this was just for users. And so it was 85 or so users, and it was fantastic. Greenville's a pretty place. We get lots of compliments. It may not be well known, but it's beautiful, especially in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a lot of compliments on the venue. We got a lot of compliments on, hey, I learned so much. I liked that it was focused on kind of what I'm involved in, if these were maintenance people or business analysts that wanted to learn more about it. And then we did something fun at the end. We went to a baseball game, to do a social event. That was really fun. I think it was great. We got some really good feedback on it. And year two, we have introduce some sponsorships. Bobby's going to be there, of course, and I think it's going to be even bigger. The head of product development, Jonas, who's based in Denmark, is going to be there and do a roundtable so he can lay out the vision of the product into the future of that particular module. So we're real excited.
Awesome, man. I'm gonna step in. Jesse, I hope you don't mind. I'm gonna correct you on one thing.
Okay.
About your conference, and I'm sure Martina's gonna appreciate this. They're enhancers, right?
They
Not
are
sponsors.
enhancers. Yes.
And I love
Yes.
that nuance. It's a slight nuance between kind of a more of a partnership feel than it is
Yeah.
a sponsor feel. So
Yeah.
that was a unique thing that you guys came up with, which I appreciate.
Yeah. So we do have enhancers this year, yes, and I think it's going to actually improve the conference because
We'll see how much I actually enhance it. Yeah, we'll see. That's to be determined. That's TBD on how
it's
much
going to be
I
great.
will actually
It's going to be
enhance
great.
But it will be
great.
fun to be there. Yeah.
Yeah, it is going to be great, and I think it'll continue to grow. I don't think it'll ever be like DynamicsCon where it's huge, but there are some huge maintenance conferences out there. So this one's focused on just Dynamics and inside Dynamics. So I don't think it'll ever get big. 200-300 people would be the biggest I think it may ever get, if it gets that big. But some of the maintenance and reliability conferences out there can be several thousand people. Kind of the biggest, I don't know if you guys know this, but Maximo is kind of the world-class software for maintenance. Like General Motors uses
Gotcha.
Maximo and all these huge companies. They had 5,000 people at their conference last year. So, there is a whole world that, unless you're in this kind of like we are, you don't realize, there's a whole segment of this functionality of this just this industry or sub-industry that has a lot to do with profitability of a company, and people invest a lot in it and think a lot about it, and it's one of those things where you never really realize that until you dive in.
Savannah, how do you feel about growing Tech Connect to 1,000, 2,000 people and having to manage that?
We might need to hire a few more people.
I was gonna say, hopefully you've turned yourself into a production events company at that point, which is why the size of that makes it nice and unique. You can keep it to that, like you said, 200 to 300 levels seems about right for. I mean, I can't imagine Ellipse wanting to grow Tech Connect past that kind of level of just too much. Brent would lose his mind if he had to put on an event the size, having to deal with thousands of people in that kind of a venue and that kind of a
that's
space.
what I was gonna say. There is something special. It's great to have events like DynamicsCon or Summit or whatever where there is multiple thousand people, and those events are so special and fun in itself. But there is something also special about having the smaller events like Dynaway Connect and what our event is, Tech Connect. So there's a closer knit feel to them.
Exactly.
Some people say it's easier to just sit down and not have so many sessions to choose from, but also there's also a great thing about having a lot of sessions to choose from at things like DynamicsCon. So there's pros and cons to everything, and I think that's what makes our community so great is there's so many different options to choose from in events like that. So
fighting hard it's like I knew it was gonna be a tipping point, but how to keep that small feel around a large conference. Like it's an internal dialogue that I'm having consistent. Like how can we keep this so it feels like a little bit like you're not losing that small time feel, but even though we're growing, because we want to grow, like everybody, you want to grow, but we talk about there's a point at which we know there'll be a cap. Like we don't want over this number of people or over this number of sessions.
Yeah.
Like it's just there is a point where it's too much, and so we do have that in our minds as we're growing and looking at those next thresholds. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I feel like one thing that DynamicsCon is good at is like you guys make it feel so personable, I think, and quirkiness, even with like your discount codes and your marketing and things like that. That makes it feel smaller than what it is. Even
they shouldn't have given me the rights to make discount codes. I know that.
I know you and Ryan have fun with those.
Boom, boom, discount.
Yeah. The quirkiness is kind of fun too. I remember you had flamethrowers 2 years ago or something. I was like,
Yeah,
this
that was
is
San
crazy.
Antonio, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was so hot. They actually didn't tend to be flamethrowers. They were just jugglers, and the things just kept catching on fire. I don't know how it worked
Uh,
out.
yeah, I think that was Phoenix.
It
But
was Phoenix. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was down
that
there in
was
Arizona. Yep.
fantastic though.
Yeah, it was
It was a
awesome.
really cool idea. So
Yep.
that keeps it fresh. But
Yeah.
yeah, but our event, if we could break even, that would be like awesome. We'll probably be in the red, but that's not it's a pretty good use of our marketing dollars also. So if we
Yeah.
can, so we feel pretty good about it.
I think
That's what we
I would
say,
I would
too.
guess I would say I feel like that's the same for Ellipse. It's like if we just break even, it's not a money making thing. It's really
Yeah.
just an education and a
Right.
and a
Yeah.
a community type thing, which is where
Yeah.
we are too. If you ask Molly
Yeah.
and the ownership group, their goal is to provide community value, and it's not to make $1 million profit
Yeah.
a year to pull aside. It's really they just love this community and love churning stuff into it. So it is also a break even
Yeah.
in the red kind of an
Yeah.
event. It's like
Yeah.
we can break even. It's like woohoo! Bobby gets to
Yeah.
stay on this year. Awesome.
Yeah. I was surprised it was in Chicago this year. And I was like, ooh, that's an expensive city. I bet that's,
It's getting expensive, yeah. When
Yeah.
the space is bigger, but yeah,
Yeah.
you got to kind of keep reaching to it. So it's as
Yep.
long as we can keep reaching to it, then we'll keep grabbing those venues.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
getting bigger. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we all three have fun events within our own companies now, which is very fun to talk about.
Yeah.
I feel like one of my favorite things just within these events is networking.
Mm-hmm.
Our event, we always have like a fun networking event with like trivia or something like that. Jesse, it sounds like you guys went to like a fun baseball game
Yeah.
last year and everything like that. Bobby, I know you guys are having like a networking reception.
There are a
I
couple
think
of
I saw on the
receptions. Yeah,
agenda.
there'll be a couple of community receptions throughout the events. There'll be a welcome reception and then a community reception the next day. So there'll be two opportunities there for everybody. Plus, throughout the day, obviously, just that
Right.
all the little slivers of time that people find.
Yeah.
In San Antonio, Jesse and I found a minute in that cool little booth area that was like there was a walkway
Yep.
at San Antonio that had
Yep.
like this little like weird pods that we used just to find a moment to chat with friends, acquaintances, people you're trying to get to know, whatever it is. There'll be all those slivers to network.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I also obviously love the networking side of it.
Yeah, I feel like at all these events, everyone is always emailing, trying to set up meetings, time to connect, things like that. Happy hours, like I said earlier, Bobby, we're planning on having one Wednesday afternoon as well.
It's not quite. That could be the blowout it was. When we pulled on the '80s. Jesse, did you make it over to the '80s themed retro? What do we call it? Retro rewind? What was it?
Retro rewind.
The retro
yeah.
rewind.
Was that last year?
Yeah, it was in San
Yeah.
Antonio. Yeah, down on the Riverwalk. It
Uh,
was in a teeny little disco. I mean, I feel like that disco couldn't have been any bigger than my basement is right
yeah.
now.
I don't think I made
It was
that.
just
I
so
don't think I
small,
made that.
but we
Yeah.
packed that dance floor. There must have been 200 people packed in
Yeah,
dancing.
we had to turn people away.
Oh,
the line
no.
at the door was too
Yeah.
long.
Mikhail, the owner of Ellipse, was like, my favorite part was like I came out and his face was just like so excited to see that we had created this party that was there were people strung around the corner.
Uh-huh.
Like Samantha said,
Uh-huh.
just waiting to get in, and he was just like amazed, like, oh my gosh, we actually crushed this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I missed that. Sorry. I would have
Probably
liked to have been
smartly
there. That would have
sleeping.
been
Like
fun.
I had to fly home the next morning, so it's like you probably did the right thing and stayed in.
Yeah. Yeah. That's too much fun. Yeah. Yeah. I've got some great stories from conferences like this. So it's
So you've been doing
it's
this
great.
for a number of years now. How long have you been in the industry? 20 years plus? Close to that?
I've been in the maintenance software industry probably 20 plus years. I've been in the Dynamics community for probably 15.
Say it's been a while because we met. It's been 10 years at least.
Yeah.
Because I just when I started in Colorado that's where we kind of
Mhm.
connected and met.
Yep.
So it's been at least
Yep.
that. So let me ask you. So because you've been in this maintenance, how's your house? Like, do you have asset management hooked up to everything in your house? Like when your blender is ready to die, it needs maintenance. What's that look like for you?
Oh gosh, yeah. I need to I need to follow my own advice a little
You need
more.
Dynaway Light. Like, hey guys, can
Yeah,
we just get it? Can we just can we pull our our
yeah.
resources together and create a home version?
It prints out a PM to go change the oil in my car. Yeah, I need
Exactly.
that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your garage door is about ready to die. It's time to maintain that. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, um, yeah, you're right. You're right. It's
We're not too
something that
far from that.
everybody does. Yeah.
The IoT, the Internet of Things, is
Mm-hmm.
upon us, and it's been
Yeah.
out there a while, but it's starting to creep more and more into our lives like that, where things are warning you,
Mm-hmm.
that they need to be replaced, or you're getting that pre-look, that Minority Report look at something.
Yeah, exactly. I always tell people, like, if you have one car, you can manage changing the oil, but imagine you have 100 cars, then you don't know when you're going to change the oil. You got to have some sort of system in place to figure that
Yeah.
out, and not have the or two of your cars seize every 6 months because of
Right. Yep.
because of crud in their engine. That's my easy way to explain PM and maintenance management. So I tell
Yeah.
people that all the
It's
time.
a
Good
great way to look at it. Then
analogy.
all of a sudden your fleet's not out and you're not making money. You
Exactly.
know, if I can't get out to the store, oh well, I'll make it there another day.
All
How
right.
many sessions, Jesse, or how many education sessions do you have? It's like 2-day event, right? Because you got
Yeah.
your event will have some pre-academy stuff, like, kind of like deeper dive learning, right?
Yeah. So
And then
go ahead.
and then there's the actual like full-on conference.
Yeah. Yeah. We actually kind of modeled it after DynamicsCon and those kind of conferences where, yeah, we have like an academy day on Monday that's sort of, we're doing some sessions that you can choose to go to or not to go to, but they're educational sessions where we're just talking about functionality of the product and working with some customers that are already using it. And then there's a welcome reception Monday night, and then Tuesday and Wednesday are full session days where there's a keynote, Microsoft speaking, and there's a keynote the next day where we have just a maintenance and reliability expert who's kind of doing the keynote. And then and then a social event on Wednesday night, and everybody either flies out before the social event or stays till Thursday morning and flies out. So it's
Yeah.
it's a good format. We kind of looked around at what other people are doing,
Yeah.
like your event, Savannah, and did something similar. So and it worked out well. I was real curious. The first year we were going to do the social event on Tuesday, the middle day,
Mhm.
and we couldn't get the baseball stadium, not the box we wanted, not the rooftop that we wanted, and so
Yeah.
we said, okay, we'll put it on Wednesday. I hope people stay. We booked out this rooftop, and hey, we're paying it whether 2 people are there or 50 people are there.
Yeah.
It's funny. Everybody stayed, like the
Good.
whole group stayed, and in retrospect, I was thinking, because we're a 2-day conference and not like a 4-day conference, I think people were more willing to stay. When you hit that 4th day, or
Yep.
you're just kind of like, I'm gonna get home. I'm gonna because I've done that before at conferences and
Oh
said,
yeah.
if I'm there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and there's a half day on Friday, like, no, I'm leaving Thursday.
That's a bane of, like, if you're submitting a session and
Yeah,
somebody's got to end up on Friday in the last slot
mhm,
of
yeah,
the day, and so
yeah,
however that works out, that lottery every year, because like you said, a lot of people are going to
yeah,
um, skedaddle out if they
yeah,
can on a longer conference,
yeah,
and maybe a shorter conference. Like, I'm staying for the baseball game.
yeah.
I had some weird travel. I'm flying in on Monday. I couldn't Sunday wasn't going to work out, and then I've got to fly from Greenville to Texas for a wedding.
Oh,
So I'm actually flying from Colorado to Greenville to Texas to Colorado. So I'm doing the triangle.
And then educational sessions. How many educational sessions is DynamicsCon having this year, Bobby? Around, do you know the number?
It's over three. It's 350-ish. I think somewhere in
hmm,
that range.
Yeah.
Again, trying to
wow,
find that
that's a lot.
balance. Like, it's like you want it to be like, for me, you want it to be packed. I'm down for, like, keep them short, smaller. Like, so people have to. It's like I only have 3 choices. I'm going to pack into one of these. And there were days in like the going way back, like in the heyday of Summit, where if you didn't get up out of your seat and run to the next session you wanted to get into, you might not get into that session.
Yeah,
That's the way it
yeah,
rolled back then. It was like, sorry, not even standing room only anymore. You can't even get in. The doors
right,
closed. That's it.
yeah,
And so you'd be like, okay, I really want to make sure it feels like it's a popular one. The speaker is going to be popular. I'm going to get up and I'm going to leave Jesse's session 5 minutes early so I can run out and forego a break and throw my backpack on a chair so I can sit down. So I
Yeah.
like that. I like that because if you're a speaker, you like that because the energy of the room is right.
Hmm.
The crowd's with you. If you can make a crowd work, whatever, even if it's 3 people, you work the crowd however you do. But I like the energy of a packed room. So I prefer to keep it smaller. So I think we're in that 300 plus or minus zone right now, with
Yeah.
each of the tracks equal on their number of sessions throughout the day.
That sounds like a good number.
Yeah. I'm not sure how many we're having at Connect. There's 2 per hour. We're having them every hour or so. So you can probably fit in, what's that, maybe 16 or 15 in a day,
Yeah,
12 in a
you
day,
usually have a
something like
sponsor
that.
session lunch. Like you don't do them
Yeah.
like so. You have little breaks. Usually
Yeah.
it's like 5 to 6 a day, maybe.
Yeah.
If you have two, it's
So,
10. So you're maybe up to like
yeah.
like 20 or so sessions,
Yeah.
all
Something like
20
that.
sessions. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds about
Yeah.
right.
Hmm.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm excited to get out and like I said, I love these smaller conferences are kind of my jam too. I love love them all, but looking forward to meeting like I said, kind of a slightly adjacent client
Hmm.
set of attendees that I
Yeah.
maybe haven't seen before in life, which is fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you dealt with those kind of people when you worked out in Colorado, but yeah, a whole room full of grizzled old guys who have rough hands, who are mixing with some IT people who are business analysts and and sort of want to learn about it too. So it's an interesting mix of
Yeah.
people, and uh, I think uh, they're more opinionated maintenance guys than there are kind of in other segments of the company. There's some
Yeah.
guys who'll say, "This is horse malarkey, it needs to work like this, and
That's
so
funny.
you'll
Yeah, they're
get
not
some,
holding back. Yeah.
they're not holding back. So you'll have some of that because it's guys that work with their hands, and they have strong beliefs about how it can work sometimes. But that actually makes it pretty fun for a speaker.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Good
you can get some
challenge.
real opinionated and devout
That's
guys who
Funny.
believe in their opinion.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Sounds like you'll be getting some fun feedback
Yeah.
from those sessions.
Yeah.
That'd be fun just to sit on in there and see, just to watch everybody chat
Yeah.
back and
Yeah.
forth.
Why'd you design it like this? We designed it not just for your industry. It's supposed to work for
Right.
everyone. Yeah,
Right.
well,
The
that's
blinders. Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.
So
So,
man, it's made me think. I was just over at an event in Denver where Bill Davies from Ellipse was there, and delivered a session that Ellipse has done for a couple of years now, and at Expo Halls, called Microsoft Millionaire, and it's built off of the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire game.
okay.
And so Brent in the marketing department there like built a PowerPoint presentation that looks, sounds, feels just like the Millionaire, like the effects, the music.
Uh-huh.
Once you've got it on the big screen, it's awesome.
That's
The amount of
cool.
work that went into creating it.
Yeah.
But it was funny. There were a lot of questions. Like I kept saying, somebody was questioning, like to your point, it's like, this is bullcrap. This doesn't work this way.
Yeah.
At the end, once the answer came up, they're like, weren't quite trusting some of the answers.
Uh-huh.
And Bill was like, hey, don't look at me. I'm just a sales guy.
I know. Bill and Rick, whenever I submit that session for them, they're always like, I'm nervous. People are going to ask me these questions. And the owner of our company creates all these questions, and they're
Yeah.
very like technical and
Very
in-depth and
technical. Yeah.
everything.
And I think he
So-
got the deck that was just off of the like internal one, which was very, very technical. Like it was all the
Okay.
ones where all the dev guys were submitting questions. So these were like super like in-depth, like paragraph technical questions. Like what? Even and like I'm sitting next to
Yeah.
Justin Carter, who's like one of the most technical guys I know in the industry, and he's like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like, I'll get back to you on that. They'll
That's
have
all
an
Bill kept
answer.
saying. He's like, yeah, don't look at me, And I was like,
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah, we should do something like that. Have a little game show. But maybe that's what you're going to do. I don't know. I'm excited about having you there, Bobby. So to engage the people a little bit more. I feel like
yeah.
we didn't do quite as good a job last. That was one of our takeaways last year. Was, hey, we want to do a little bit more to, because get the room sort of warmed up a little bit, I guess.
And what's funny is that I've been thinking about that, and I kind of thought about the fact that this is a room full of probably gruff, straight shooting maintenance folks that aren't that,
Yeah.
I can't come in with some crazy like Tony Robbins nonsense, at the end of the day, it doesn't fly the same. So
Yeah.
again, to what we were talking about before, Savannah, knowing your audience, like I'm definitely, putting some thought into making my community speech, something that hopefully will be impactful for everybody. And like you said, create some space for folks to reach out and get connected while they're at the event. So yeah, I'm excited too.
Yeah.
You're not gonna do your Marty McFly spiel.
Maybe I don't know. I'm not spilling any beans yet, other than I'll be
Okay.
there and I'll have the energy and I'll be ready, ready to go.
Jesse, is this event filmed? Am I going to be able to watch back and see all the chit chat in the room and
Yeah.
Bobby's speech?
or the crickets and like Bobby just sweating bullets, waiting
Yeah.
for as the giant clock clicks minute by minute for 45 minutes, just chunk,
Yeah.
chunk, and it's like couldn't go any faster.
We are filming it kind of for our own purposes and maybe for some marketing purposes. We'll take some chunks out of it and maybe post on YouTube for next year. But yeah, I don't think you're going to be on demand downloading his session or anything
Right.
like that. It's just
Unless
another
it's,
level that we're not quite ready to take on
a
the
lot.
responsibility for. Yeah.
once I hit
Yeah.
my stride, though, somebody in the room's gonna click. It's gonna be viral on TikTok or somewhere.
Yeah, if there's something
Instagram.
really crazy,
Yeah.
I'll post it and we'll all laugh at it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, both these events sound super exciting and yeah, basically kind of back to back there. So some good events for the community to get into and everything like that. Do you guys feel like we've hit everything that needs to be talked about each of these events?
Except for I'm sure Jesse has a code to share, which obviously we'll share in print somewhere when Savannah promotes this out here soon.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I should have looked that up before the session. I don't have the code, but yes, we'll put it out after the podcast, and we'll make sure that you can. Yeah, we're a lot of I'm sure you're the same way. A lot of people are still filtering in, so we're already over 100, and on our way to 150 or
Awesome, man.
who knows. So that's going to be really, really good. But yeah, we'll share that discount code when we get done with the podcast.
Cool.
Yeah. Just email me and I'll add it on in there.
All right, will do.
Very exciting. Bobby, any closing remarks from you?
No, I'm excited. Events excite me. I want to go to every event, so I'm excited that there are more events to choose from. Although that can be overwhelming too. But like you said, these micro events. I thought about this earlier when you said that, Jesse. Like when you're on a programming committee for a summit or for DynamicsCon, and you're looking at all the sessions you get submitted. You've got we got to pick all these, and we've got 60 sessions to fill. Yeah, you're like, well, we need a couple, fixed assets. We need a couple general ledger. We can only afford one commerce. We need some asset management. So you end up with like maybe two. If you're lucky, three. If it's a larger topic or a hot topic like AI or a couple of years ago, AP automation had to be in every room. So, but yeah, you're going to get one or two shots. If you're somebody like your maintenance person, like, oh, should I go to this big event? Well, there's only really two sessions for me. So, but here I've got all the sessions. So these micro events are fun and useful, I think, for some of these key areas. Yeah. So I'm excited to get out and again, learn more. I've been to some of these micro events. I love learning kind of this deeper dive. I'm a technical person, so I love it. That side of it too. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I'll piggyback on that a little bit and just say when you go to these big conferences, you get a broad perspective and a lot of ideas about how to doing a project at your company and make an impact. But I think when you come back from those, you have a broad knowledge. You have to figure out how to deep dive and figure out the nitty gritty of how to make that project work. And I think with a focused, smaller conference, with one module, you can actually come back with more of a complete plan on, hey, listen, this is what this customer did. I talked to him for an hour and this product will do this. I vetted it out all the way to kind of the nth degree. And now I've got I think this project will work for our company because it worked for X company. And they thought it was fabulous. And I've got kind of maybe a more completed plan on how to make an impact because you were just able to spend more time in it.
Yep. How about
Yeah.
you, Savannah? Any last words,
On
final thoughts?
any last No, yeah, I feel like we've really covered what the value is on attending each of these events for different reasons. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say besides Jesse. I hope you best of luck at your event. I wish I could go, but I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah.
it's the right fit for me. But and then Bobby, I'm excited to go to DynamicsCon for the first time this year.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
yeah, it'll be
Jesse will
Yeah,
be
fun.
there, so yeah, we'll be we
yeah.
can
That'll be
get the
fun.
whole gang
It'll
together
be,
again in just about a month. Yeah, like
yeah,
it's crazy how fast these are coming up too. So
yeah.
before you
They're
know it,
not.
you'll blink and Tech Connect will be here, and you'll be
I
yeah.
know.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
yeah,
time flies, you
yeah,
guys.
yeah. Yeah. Let me know when that
So.
conference is. When Tech is up, I'll try to be there. That'd be fun.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I will send you the information once we have it up. I was telling Bobby we're kind of still in the works of we're changing a few things around, so that might meet in a new venue. So I've
Okay.
been hustling and bustling and trying to find something that'll work for us. So, but yeah, as soon as it's all dropped, I'll definitely send it your way. So
Super duper.
cool. Awesome. Well, thanks Jesse for joining us, and Bobby, it's always fun to chat here. So
yep,
see you guys and have a good rest of your
yep.
week.
See y'all
Have a great
soon.
week. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.